Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Smart Engineer. Today we are going to discuss on the topic that is the cellular concept system design fundamentals. In that we will see that cellular system, hexagonal geometry cell, cellular system operation, concept of frequency reuse, channel assignment strategies and signal to interference ratio, handoff and its strategies, umbrella concept, trunking and grade of service, improving coverage and capacity in cellular system, in that cell splitting, cell sectoring, repeaters, micro cell zone concept, etc. First of all, we will see cellular system basic concepts. Cellular system solves the problems of spectral congestion. It offers high capacity in limited spectrum. High capacity is achieved by limiting the coverage area of each base station to a small geographical area. This is called cell. It replaces high power transmitter with several low power transmitters. Each base station is allocated to a portion of total channels and nearby cells are allocated completely different channels. Interference between neighboring base station is minimized by allocating different channels. In a cellular network, total area is subdivided into smaller areas called cell. Each cell can cover limited number of mobile subscribers within its boundary. Each cell can have a base station with number of radio frequency channels, that is RF channel. Hence, the cellular systems are limited by co-channel interferences. The immense potential of conventional telephone cannot be exploited to its maximum due to the limitation imposed by the connecting wires. But this restriction has been removed with the advent of the cellular radio. Additional radio capacity is achieved and the same frequencies are reused by spatially separated base stations. Interference between co-channel stations is kept below acceptable level. Now the cellular approach with limited frequency resource. Cellular principle can serve thousands of subscribers at an affordable cost. In a cellular network, total area is divided. Each cell can cover limited number of mobiles. Frequencies used in a given cell area will be simultaneously reused at a different cell which is geographically separated. For example, a typical 7-cell pattern can be considered. Total frequency resources are divided into 7 parts. Each part consisting of a number of radio channels allocated to cell sites. In a group of 7 cells, available frequency spectrum is consumed totally. The same 7 sets of a frequency can be used after certain distance. The group of cells where available frequency spectrum is totally consumed is called a cluster of cells. Two cells having the same number in the adjacent cluster. Use of the same set of radio frequency channels and hence termed as a co-channel cells. The distance between the cells using the same frequency should be sufficient to keep co-channel interference to an acceptable level. Next topic is the frequency reuse. What is frequency reuse? Frequency reuse is the scheme in which allocation and reuse of channels throughout a coverage region is done. Each cellular base station is allocated to a group of radio channels or frequency. subbands to be used within a small geographic area known as cell. The shape of a cell is hexagonal. This process of selecting and allocating the frequency subbands for all the cellular base stations within a system called frequency reuse or frequency planning, used by service providers to improve the efficiency of a cellular network and to serve millions of subscribers using limited radio spectrum. After covering a certain distance, a radio wave gets attenuated and the signal falls below the point where it can no longer be used or cause any interference. Beyond this coverage area, the frequency can be reused by another transmitter. Now the cell, as we stated before, basic geographical unit of a cellular network is the area around an antenna where specific frequency range is used, called a cell. When subscriber moves to another cell, the antenna of the new cell takes over the signal transmission. So, the frequency spectrum is divided into subbands and each subband is used within one cell of the cluster. In heavy traffic zones, cells are smaller, while in isolated zones, cells are larger. Cell is labeled with some letter use of set of frequencies. There are 4 shapes, cell shapes, that is circle, square, triangle and hexagonal. Mostly hexagonal shape is conceptual. In reality, it is irregular in shape. This is the diagram of frequency. Now there are some features of frequency reuse. Frequency reuse improves the spectral efficiency and signal quality. Frequency reuse classical scheme purpose for GSM systems offer a protection against interference. The number of times a frequency can be reused is depend on the tolerance capacity of the radio channel from the nearby transmitter that is using the same frequency. In a hexagonal cell model, base station transmitter can be in center of a cell or in 3 vertices. Centered excited cells use omnidirectional, whereas edge excited cells use directional antennas. A cellular system having cell is allocated to K channels, that is K is less than S. If S channel are allocated to N cells into unique and disjoint channels, the total number of available channel is S is equals to K into N. Now, N cells collectively using the channels is called a cluster. This is a group of adjacent cells. If cluster is repeated M times, the capacity of C system is given as C is equals to MKN, that is MS. Capacity of system is directly proportional to the number of times cluster is repeated. Reducing the cluster size N while keeping the cell size constant. More clusters are required to cover the given area and hence more capacity. So the co-channel interference is dependent on the cluster size, and large cluster size less interference and vice versa. Now the next point is locating co-channel cells. This is the diagram of locating co-channel cells, in which a cellular network total area is subdivided into smaller areas called cells. Each cell can cover a limited number of mobile subscribers within its boundaries. As we know, 2 cells having the same number in the adjacent cluster use as the same set of RF channels, and hence this is termed as a co-channel cells. The channel sets are formed by dividing the total number of usable channels into n groups. This cluster size and is related to a displacement parameters, that is I and j, that identify co-channel cells by 1n is equals to I2 plus ij plus j2, where I and j are non-negative integers with I is greater than or equals to j. This is the equation. Next topic is the channel assignment strategies. In radio source management for wireless and cellular network, channel allocation schemes are required to allocate bandwidth and communication channels to a base stations, access points and terminal equipment. The objective is to achieve maximum system spectral efficiency in bits per hertz per site by means of frequency reuse, but still assure a certain grade of service by avoiding co-channel interference and adjacent channel interference among nearby cells or networks that share the bandwidth. For efficient utilization of the radio spectrum, a frequency reuse scheme that is consistent with the objectives of increasing capacity and minimizing interference is required. There are different channel assignment strategies developed to achieve these objectives. First one is the fixed channel assignment strategy and second one is the dynamic channel assignment strategy. We will see one by one. First one is the fixed channel assignment strategy. So what is fixed assignment channel strategy? In a fixed channel assignment strategy, each cell is allocated a predetermined set of channels. Any call attempt within a cell can be served only by unoccupied channels in that particular cell. If all the channels in the cell are occupied, the call is blocked and subscriber does not receive service. Next one is the dynamic channel strategy. What is dynamic channel strategy? In this strategy, channels are not allocated to various cells permanently. Instead, each time is a call attempted. The cell base station requests a channel from the MTSO or MSC, which allocate a channel based on an algorithm that minimizes the cost of channel allocation. Next one is the handoff. We will see the concept of handoff. What is handoff? Handoff, also called a handover, refers to a process of transferring an ongoing call or data session from one channel or base station to another. When mobile unit moves from one cell to another cell, the call in progress will be handed over from one BST to another BST of a new cell where mobile unit enters, so that will call in progress will not be disturbed. So, to understand the handover concept, let us consider the following figure, which shows the typical behavior of the received signal level while an mobile station moves away from one BTS to closer to another BS. In this case, the handover decision does not depend on the actual value of the received signal level, but on the average value. Therefore, the BSC collects all values from BST and mobile station and calculate the average values. These values are then compared to thresholds, that is the handover margin or handover point. Based on received signal strength, indicates and bit error rate of local base station and other base station, handover margin is decided. The mobile station break its old link and access the new base station, which is called a break before make handover. That is MAHO. This kind of network assign handoff decision is known as mobile assisted handoff, that is MAHO. Now the next figure is the illustration of handoff at a. In this figure, demonstrate the case where a handoff is not made and the signal drops below the minimum acceptable level to keep the channel active. The dropped call event in figure can happen when there is an excessive delay by a MSC in assigning a handoff, or when the threshold is set too small for a handoff time of the system. Excessive delays may occur during high traffic conditions due to computation loading at the MSC or due to the fact that no channels are available on the nearby base stations. Now next one is the handoff strategies. Handoff is made when received signal at the base station falls below a certain threshold. As we know, during handover, to avoid call termination safely, margin should exist and should not be too large or too small. So the large results in unnecessary handoff, and for small insufficient time to complete handoff so carefully chosen to meet the requirements. It can happen due to excessive delay by MSC in assigning handoff or when threshold is set to small, as we know stated before. Now, first generation in handoff. In first generation analog cellular systems, the signal strength measurements are made by the base stations and are supervised by the MSC. Base station monitors the relative location for each user. Locator receiver is used to determine the signal strength of users in neighboring cells and is controlled by the MSC. Based on the information from locator, receiver MSC decides if handoff is necessary or not. Now, in second generation systems, mobile assisted handoffs are used. Every mobile station measures the received power from the surrounding base station and continually reports these values to the corresponding base stations. Handoff decisions are mobile assisted. In mobile assisted handoffs, every mobile measures the received power from surrounding base stations. MAHO enables to call the handed over at much faster rates. Now there are some types of handoff. First one is the soft handoff. What is soft handoff? The ability to select between the instantaneous received signal from different base stations is called soft handoff. In CDMA, that is Paid Spectrum Cellular Systems, provide a unique handoff capability. Unlike channelized wireless systems that assign different radio channel during handoff called hard handoff, the spread spectrum mobile stations share the same channel in every cell. The term handoff here implies that a different base station handles the radio communication task. Next one is the inter-system handoff. If a mobile moves from one cellular system to a different cellular system controlled by different mobile station, this is an inter-system handoff is necessary. MSC engages an inter-system handoff when signal becomes weak in a given cell and MSC cannot find another cell within its system to transfer the ongoing call. In this handoff, there are many issues must be resolved. First one is the local call may become long distance call, and the second one is the compatibility between the two MSCs. Next one is prioritizing handoffs. There is an issue with this to perceived grade of service quality as viewed by users, that is quality in terms of dropped or blocked calls, that is not voice quality, means there is an error in the call. Assign higher priority to handoffs versus new call request. A dropped call is more aggregating than an occasional blocked call. There are some guard channels. Percent of total available sale channels exclusively set aside for handoff requests. It makes fewer channels available for new call requests. This is a good strategy in dynamic channel allocation that is not fixed. So, it will adjust number of guard channels as needed by demand, and the channels are not wasted in sales with low traffic. Next topic is the umbrella sales. Umbrella sale approach in mobile communication is the smaller sale which is grouped and assumed to be under a large sale. This method called as umbrella sale concept. It can be used to provide a large area to high speed users while small coverage to users that travel at low speeds. Figure shows the diagram of umbrella sale approach. There are some typical handoff parameters. First one is the analog cellular. In first generation, there is the threshold margin is 6 to 12 dB and the total time to complete handoff is 8 to 10 seconds. In digital cellular, this is the second generation. The total time to complete handoff is 1 to 2 seconds and lower necessary threshold margin is to 0 to 6 dB. It enables by mobile assisted handoff. Now reuse ratio. For hexagonal cell, distance is given by d is equals to r into root 3n. This is the equation where r is the cell size or cell radius and n is the cluster size. D is the increases as we increases n. Reuse factor is given by q is equals to d divided by r is equals to under root of 3n. Now next one is the interference. Goals of this section is to cover two topics, that is co-channel and adjacent channel interference. Now we will see how to calculate signal to interference ratio first. Interference is major limiting factor in the performance of cellular radio. It limits the capacity and increases the number of dropped calls. Sources of interference include another mobile is in same cell, a call in progress in a neighboring cell, or BSS base stations operating in the same frequency band. These are the limitations for this. Now what is the effect of interference? Interference in voice channel causes crosstalks and there are some noise in the background. Interference in control channels causes error in digital signals, that is missed call, blocked call and dropped calls. There are some two major interferences as we stated before, that is co-channel interference and adjacent channel interference. Co-channel interference is caused due to the cells that reuse the same frequency set. These cells using the same frequency set are called co-channels, and adjacent channel is caused due to the signals that are adjacent in frequency. Now we will see one by one. What is co-channel interference? There are several cells that use the same set of frequencies because of frequency reuse. These cells are called co-channel cells, and interference between signals from different cells using the same frequency is called co-channel interference. Unlike noise, co-channel interference cannot be combated by simply increasing the carrier power. This is because an increase in carrier transmit power increases the interference as well. To reduce co-channel interference, co-channel cell must be separated by a minimum distance. The cells using the set of frequencies must be separated to provide sufficient isolation. Now, signal to interference ratio. The signal to interference ratio, that is SIR, S divided by R, also known as the carrier to interference ratio, is the quotient between the average received modulated carrier power S or C and the average received co-channel interference power, that is I, or crosstalk from the other transmitters than the useful signal. The CIR or SIR resembles the carrier to noise ratio, or which is the signal to noise ratio of a modulated signal before demodulation. A distinction is that interfering radio transmitters contributing to may be controlled by radio resources management, while N involves noise power from other sources. This is the equation for signal to interference ratio for mobile is given by S divided by I, that is S is the signal from intended base station when at edge of cell, that is from R away, divided by signals from other base stations, that is from D away, is equals to R raised to minus n divided by summation of I is equals to 1 to I0 d of I raised to minus n, with only the first tier layer of equidistant interferences for a hexagonal cluster size which always have 6 cc cell in first tier. Now the last topic of this video is the adjacent channel interference. Interference caused by signals from adjacent channels is called adjacent channel interference. Adjacent channel interference occurs due to imperfect receiver filtering, especially when an undesired transmitter is significantly closer to a receiver than desired source. Adjacent channels are those channels within the RF band being used that are in essence side by side. For example, channel 1 is adjacent to channel 2, which is adjacent to channel 3, and so on. These adjacent channels overlap each other because each channel is 22 MHz wide and their center frequencies are only 5 MHz apart. Adjacent channel interferences happen when two or more access points using overlapping, they are located near enough to each other that their coverage cells physically overlap. Adjacent channel interference can be reduced by maximizing the frequency separation between channels in each cell through careful frequency planning in a cellular system, or through careful filtering and channel assignment, which is keeping the frequency separation between each channel in a given cell is a larger as possible as. A channel separation greater than 6 is needed to bring the adjacent channel interference to an acceptable level. This is the diagram of channel assignment and frequency planning. Thank you.